Welcome to Oxygen for Women. I'm Perry Janssen, psychotherapist and author. This podcast is your weekly breath of renewal, where psychology meets spirituality and healing meets real life. We explore what women are really facing: stress, burnout, relationship challenges, and emotional exhaustion, and the longing to live with more ease, vitality, and a more soulful life. If you've been giving more than you've got and are ready for revolutionary self-care, this is your invitation to breathe, restore, and reclaim your inner oxygen. Well, hello everyone. By popular request, I am bringing back the Oxygen for Women podcast. When the pandemic hit, most of us therapists were swamped, and I do mean really swamped, while also dealing with the pandemic ourselves. So at that time, I decided to back off the extras in my life, and the podcast happened to be one of those, and focus on my family and my clients, because as everybody remembers, it was a wild world during that time. So I really want to welcome back my old listeners and welcome to the new, to Oxygen for Women, the podcast that helps you exhale the pressure, reconnect with your truth, and remember who you are in this wild world we are living in. I'm Perry Janssen. I'm a psychotherapist, author, and emotional intelligence guide, and this is your space to pause, breathe, and really restore your connection to yourself, your body, spirit, and your soul. Here, we are really going to talk about what women are feeling: stress, self-sacrifice, burnout, perfectionism, and the quiet longing to come home to yourself again, and so much more. Today's theme is, I really want people to know that you are not alone. And as you will see in this theme today, this is the main reason why I decided to come back and do this podcast. I want women to know they aren't alone in all the challenges that life is throwing at us. If you've ever felt like you're doing it all, you're holding it all, or quietly wondering if anyone else feels the way you do, this space is for you. Because you know what? I guarantee someone somewhere is feeling something similar. I hear about it all day long as a therapist. I created Oxygen for Women because I've seen again and again how easy it is for women to feel alone, even when they're surrounded by people, by family, being, if they're married and so forth. I've seen sometimes people feel more alone when they're surrounded by people. Loneliness isn't always about feeling physically alone. It can be that deeper sense of feeling unseen, unsupported, and not listened to, or feel like no one really gets what you're carrying. And my intention for this podcast and this community is for you to know you're not alone in your challenges. So the first segment that I want to go into, I think of it as the hidden epidemic. We live in a world full of noise, life's challenges and technology, but not enough real connection. We scroll through thousands of people's lives, and yet so often we feel invisible or deeply alone and burdened in our own challenges. I've had clients tell me, you know what, I keep the TV on all night because I don't want to feel like I'm alone. It gives me a sense of company. And I get it. That silence can feel deafening, or like a mirror reflecting back the ache of loneliness, and like you're the only one feeling the way you do. But that ache, it's not weakness, it's biology. We are biologically wired for connection. Our nervous systems actually regulate through relationship, through presence, through being seen and understood. And when that's missing, we feel it, not just emotionally, but physically. It shows up as anxiety, depression, emotional eating, exhaustion. In fact, more and more studies are showing a relationship and a correlation between addiction and loneliness. It's the body saying, I can't and don't want to do this in isolation. That's why I created Oxygen for Women here, to rebuild the connection that helps us breathe and feel a sense of belonging again. So the second thing I really want to address is, why does community matter so much? Community is a bigger deal than most people realize. True community doesn't just make you feel good, it literally heals you. It adds years to your life. I've read studies where it sounds like it adds like 7 to 12 years to your life. And I have seen over and over again, it reduces postpartum depression. It increases your ability to handle pain. and it strengthens your heart and your nervous system. Community is truly medicinal. It's medicine to our body and our soul and our mind and our hearts. And honestly, I think that if we had real community, most of us therapists and coaches, myself included, would probably be out of a job. Because when we have spaces where we're really truly seen and supported, healing happens naturally. I think that we were built to be in community. Pain is actually more tolerable when we are with others, and when we are surrounded by others, we remember our strength. We stop blaming ourselves for being human. That's the heart of Oxygen for Women, a movement, not a podcast, a space where women can breathe, belong, and be real. When you don't have to fix yourself, you can relax and be yourself and be met there. I'm here to meet you there. You know, one of the things I really want people to get here is that we're more connected in our challenges that you know. Somewhere in the world right now, another mom is sleep deprived, maybe inwardly attacking herself because she feels like she was a crappy mom that day. In my mom's group, when my kids were really little, we would commiserate about who got the worst mom award of the week. I'm telling you, those days truly got me through some of the most challenging parenting struggles of my life. Or somewhere there's a female leader being talked over, interrupted, mansplained, her ideas dismissed. Or a woman of color is carrying the weight of inequity, navigating a world that is still rejecting and doesn't fully see her. A mother's teenager suddenly looking at her with repulsion and convinced she's a dingling and pretty much just always wrong. Or another woman is riding the wild frickin' roller coaster of menopause. Woohoo! Hormones shifting, emotions rising, bodies being pulled down by gravity and everything else and changing by the second. And our identity transforming. If you feel it, someone else, somewhere is feeling it too. You aren't the only one. And in this podcast, we're going to talk about it as much as I can, covering as many topics as I possibly can. You name it, we're going to try to cover it openly and honestly and with compassion. I may goof up in my ideas and things like that, but I sincerely am bringing my heart and soul in wanting to reconnect women in a community. We'll talk about the real stuff, the inner critic, boundaries, burnout, emotional exhaustion, creative recovery, self-love, sex, embodiment, not in a polished or perfect way. You can see that I've probably already goofed up in the podcast a few times, but in a human, heartfelt way. That's what I'm bringing here. Because when women share their stories, the truth, the messy, the sacred, we heal together. That's what Oxygen for Women is here for, to remind you you're part of a much bigger story and a much bigger community. So I'm extending a hand as we are all in this together. So here is a little exercise to reconnect you to you and to other women who are having the same challenges that you might be. So, I'm going to this is my first podcast in a long, long time. So I'm just asking you to take a slow, deep breath in through your nose and feel it going through your body. And then exhale gently through your mouth. Try to feel your shoulders soften. I can feel my shoulders right now, just like up like earrings, trying to do the podcast just right here. And now I'm just gently softening my shoulders and unclenching my jaw. Just unclench your jaw. Just let it drop. And let your chest just rise and fall naturally. Begin to breathe again. We go through all of our days just practically holding our breath. Now imagine somewhere another woman is listening right now. Maybe she's in her car. Maybe she's walking. Maybe she's sitting in her kitchen with a cup of tea. Maybe she's just stressed out, just like you might be going home in rush hour traffic. She's breathing with you. You don't know her name, but you're connected somewhere in the world. This is community, this invisible web that holds us when life feels too heavy. With your next breath, send her a quiet blessing. You're not alone. You're not alone. And imagine her whispering it back to you. Neither are you. That's what Oxygen for Women is really about. breathing life back into ourselves and connecting with other women. Even that little exercise, I have to tell you, just chokes me up. Just knowing, this summer I was going through a little bit of a hard time, and I reached out to my friend Sheila, and she just gave me some words of encouragement that just boosted me up. Right before this podcast, I was talking to her, and it just boosted me up. I'm not alone. You're not alone. There's another woman right there with you who's letting you know you're not alone. So this is just the beginning. This is a micro podcast. I'm going to be doing somewhere between 5 and 15 minutes, just so that you can take something juicy away, something that lifts you up, inspires you, or helps you navigate this kind of wild terrain of life. And on Thursdays, I will be doing a Q&A, so that you can send in your questions, and I'm going to give you the email address a little bit further down here, so that you can send me your questions and I'll be answering them on Thursdays. I'm going to pick one question each Thursday so that you just get a nice little jolt of inspiration and a little bit of help. So this is just the beginning. Oxygen for Women is a movement, a gathering place for women to exhale this pressure that we all are experiencing, reconnect with what's real, and remember who you are. So each week we'll be exploring a different theme. So if you want a little coaching, you can send me your questions to tuneinwithperryjanssen@gmail.com. You can go to my website, perryjanssen.com, and you can get my email in the show notes there as well. Because together we can remember that healing isn't something we have to do alone. So if today's conversation brought a breath of fresh air, stay connected. Subscribe and share this podcast. Invite a friend who might need to hear that she's not alone either. I'm Perry Janssen, and this is Oxygen for Women, our space to breathe, belong, and be